Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Study Education. Here we discuss the topic related to education. In our previous video lesson, we have discussed about the process of assessment in education. So today in this video lesson, we are going to discuss about the types of assessment in education. As earlier, we have discussed that assessment is a systematic process used to obtain information about the progress of the learner by using a variety of procedures for continuous improvement of the learner and teaching learning process. So, the main purpose of assessment is to provide feedback for improvement in teaching learning process. Through the process of assessment, the teacher knows about the progress of the learner, his pace of learning, strength and weakness of the learner, and according to which the teacher plan or modify his instructional strategy for improvement in teaching learning process. As the assessment process includes a wide variety of procedures used to obtain information about teaching learning process, so it may be classified or described in different way on the basis of its phases, context, purpose or function. So let's move on to know about the types of assessment in education. Generally, assessment is carried out at the beginning of teaching learning process, during the teaching learning process, and at the end of instructional process according to its purpose or function. In this video lesson, we will discuss a general overview on the types of assessment in education, that is placement assessment, formative assessment, diagnostic assessment, and summative assessment. So let's move on to discuss in details about the types of assessment in education. The first assessment process comes into the teaching learning process is placement assessment. Placement assessment is concerned with the entry behavior of the students. Placement assessment is carried out before the instructional process to assess the entry behavior or position of the students in a sequence of instruction. Placement assessment focuses on readiness of the students in teaching learning process, and it assesses the past knowledge of the students for designing the present instruction. So, the main purpose of placement assessment is to assess the entry behavior of the students. For this purpose, a variety of techniques can be used, such as records of past achievement test, pre-test on course objective, observational techniques, and so on. Then come to the next type of assessment, that is formative assessment. Formative assessment is used to monitor the learning progress during the instructional process. Formative assessment is carried out during the instructional process to assess the students' learning progress and to determine teaching effectiveness. The main purpose of formative assessment is to assess the learning progress and provide continuous feedback to both teacher and students during the instructional period. It motivates and reinforces the entire learning process by providing feedback. Feedback to the students is that it provides reinforcement for successful learning and identified the specific learning errors that are need correction. It also provides feedback to the teacher for modifying instructional strategy or method to improve the teaching learning process. So, formative assessment is directed towards improving learning or instruction. Tests like monthly test, class test, periodical test, and other type of teacher-made test or observational techniques are used in formative assessment. The next assessment process is diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment is concerned with the persistent or recurring learning difficulties. Suppose during the course of instruction, a teacher finds that in spite of adopting the standard method, the student continue to face learning difficulties in a specific subject. Then, in this situation, the teacher takes the help of diagnostic assessment. Diagnostic assessment is carried out to diagnose the learning difficulties during the instruction and helps the teacher to make better plan what to teach and how to teach it. Formative assessment provides fast aid treatment for simple learning problems, and diagnostic assessment searches for the underlying causes of these problems that do not respond to the first aid treatment, that is formative assessment. So, diagnostic assessment is much more comprehensive and detailed than formative assessment. It involves the use of special prepared diagnostic tests as well as various observational techniques. So, the main purpose of diagnostic assessment is to determine the cause of persistent learning difficulties and to formulate a plan for remedial action. Then come to the summative assessment process that typically comes at the end of instruction. Summative assessment is designed to determine the extent to which instructional goals have been achieved. Summative assessment is carried out at the end of instruction to assess the level of achievement of students and certify the students according to their performance. So, the main purpose of summative assessment is to assign grade or certifying the student achievement. The techniques used in summative assessment are teacher-made achievement test, rating scale or standardized achievement test. So, it's all about the types of assessment in education. Thanks for watching this video.